Cruise lines have built an entire business model on silence, not the calm ocean kind, the kind where nobody at the front desk volunteers what is already sitting inside your fare. After spending years behind the guest services counter on three major cruise lines, I watched thousands of passengers over 65 pay out of pocket for things that were free the entire time, sitting behind the counter, ready, and never mentioned unless you happen to ask the exact right question. A 71-year-old from Cleveland paid $42 to have three shirts pressed before formal night. She had no idea the service was complimentary the whole week. A 69-year-old from San Diego dragged her own suitcase up 3 flights because nobody told her a crew member was standing by, ready and waiting to carry it for free. Today, I am revealing all 11 of these hidden free services, the exact words that unlock each one, and why staff are trained to wait quietly until you ask first. Number 7 is the one that even 10th time cruisers walk right past. Before we get into the full list, if you are 65 or older and planning a cruise this year, or if you are helping a parent plan one, go ahead and subscribe right now, because cruise lines quietly change these free perks by season and by ship, and this channel tracks every update so you are never the one paying for something that was free all along. Number 11. Assistance moving heavy luggage into your cabin. Here is what most passengers over 65 never realize standing on the pier. Crew members are assigned specifically to help you carry bags to your cabin, and it costs nothing, not a dollar, not a required tip. A 73-year-old from Tampa dragged 2 heavy suitcases down 4 decks by herself on embarkation day. Her back ached for the first 2 days of the cruise, and she later learned a porter had been standing 20 feet away the entire time, waiting to be asked. Here is why this service stays so quiet. Cruise lines do not want 100 passengers requesting help at the exact same moment, so they never announce it over the intercom. They simply wait for you to ask first. Here is what you do. The moment you step off the gangway, look for a crew member in a vest near the luggage carts and say, "I would like assistance getting my bags to my cabin, please." That single sentence gets you a porter within minutes, most of the time before you even reach the elevator. Insider move, a tip is appreciated but never required, and asking early, before the boarding crowd forms, gets you served noticeably faster and with far less waiting around. Think a porter carrying your bags is nice. Wait until you hear what they will bake for you completely free. Number 10. Complimentary birthday or anniversary cake delivery. Most cruise lines will deliver a full cake to your cabin free of charge if you are celebrating a birthday or anniversary during the sailing, yet fewer than 1 in 10 passengers over 65 ever think to ask for it directly. A 68-year-old from Orlando paid $35 for a cake and balloon package through the cruise app, not realizing a simple phone call to guest services would have gotten her the same cake, decorated and delivered, at no charge at all. Here is why cruise lines keep this quiet. The paid celebration packages come bundled with extras like balloons and champagne, and staff are trained to let you discover the paid bundle first, long before anyone mentions the free option sitting underneath it. Here is what you do. Call guest services at least 48 hours before the celebration date and say, "I would like to arrange a complimentary cake delivery for a birthday or anniversary during this sailing." Ask specifically for the basic cake option, not the paid package, and confirm out loud there is no charge before you hang up the phone. Rule of thumb: If the words special occasion or celebration appear anywhere in your booking notes, you almost certainly already qualify for this. Number 9 takes care of something most seniors forget to pack from home. Number 9, free reading glasses and basic toiletries at guest services. Here is something cruise lines rarely put on a sign anywhere. Guest services keeps a stocked supply of reading glasses, toothbrushes, razors, and basic toiletries specifically for passengers who forgot items or lost them somewhere in transit. And none of it costs a single cent. A 74-year-old from Phoenix realized on day 1 that her reading glasses were sitting on her kitchen counter back home. She spent $19 at the gift shop out of pure frustration before a fellow passenger mentioned that guest services had a free supply the entire time. Here is why this stays hidden. The gift shop and the free supply exist on the very same ship, and staff are never instructed to steer you toward the free option first, since the shop generates revenue and the front desk basket does not. Here is what you do. Walk straight to guest services on embarkation day and say, "I forgot an item. Do you have anything available at no charge?" They keep a small basket set aside specifically for requests like this one. Insider move. Ask quietly and specifically, since the supply is limited and it is never advertised anywhere publicly on the ship. Number 8 solves the one problem every 7-day cruiser eventually runs into by midweek. Number 8, free laundry bag on longer voyages. On cruises of 7 nights or longer, most major lines will provide at least one free laundry bag per cabin, letting you wash a full load without paying the per-item pricing that laundry services normally charge for each piece. A 70-year-old from Minneapolis paid $90 over the course of a 10-night cruise, having individual pieces laundered separately before her granddaughter mentioned the free bag option that had been sitting in the closet the entire time. Here is why nobody mentions it. Cruise ships generate significant revenue from per-item laundry pricing, and the free bag option is intentionally left off the daily newsletter, so most passengers default to paying by the piece without ever knowing better. Here is what you do. Check your closet on day 1 for a small drawstring bag, and if you do not see one, call housekeeping and say, "I am on a voyage of 7 nights or longer. I would like my complimentary laundry bag, please." Fill it once during the cruise for a flat rate that is far cheaper than pricing each item separately. Rule of thumb, it is one free bag per cabin per voyage, so coordinate with your cabin mate to make the most of it. Number 7 is the one that almost every seasoned cruiser still misses completely. Number 7, complimentary clothes pressing. Here is the service that surprised me most while working guest services. Basic garment pressing for formal night is free on most ships, yet the paid pressing and dry cleaning menu sits right on top of your bed the very first night, making the free option easy to miss entirely. A 71-year-old from Cleveland, the same one from our opening, paid $42 to have 3 shirts pressed through that paid menu before learning weeks later that a simple request would have gotten the same shirts pressed at no cost whatsoever. Here is why this happens. The paid dry cleaning menu covers stain removal and delicate specialty fabrics, and it gets bundled visually with the free basic pressing service, so the pricing looks uniform, even though one part of it is completely complimentary. Here is what you do. Call your cabin steward directly and say, "I have formal wear that needs a basic press. Is this covered under the complimentary service?" Stewards are required to confirm this honestly the moment you ask them directly. Insider move, Request pressing the morning of formal night rather than the night before, since same-day requests get priority ahead of the paid dry cleaning queue. Number 6, changes how well you sleep for the rest of the entire week. Number 6, mattress topper and specialty pillow requests. Cruise cabins keep a limited stock of mattress toppers, firm pillows, and hypoallergenic pillows specifically for passengers who ask, and the supply runs out fast because most people never think to request it on day one. A 73-year-old from Boston asked her steward for a mattress topper within the first 30 minutes of boarding and received one before dinner, while her cabin mate waited until bedtime and was told the entire supply was already gone for the week. Here is why the timing matters so much. Cruise lines stock only a handful of these items per deck, and stewards distribute them on a strictly first-come basis with no reservation system in place at all. Here is what you do. The moment you enter your cabin, find your steward or leave a note and say, "I would like to request a mattress topper and a firm pillow if one is available." Ask again politely if the answer is not yet, since new stock sometimes becomes available again mid-week. Rule of thumb, request within the first hour, not the first day, since that early window is what actually determines whether you get one. Number 5 arrives right at your door every single morning, if you simply know to ask for it. Number 5, complimentary room service breakfast delivery. Here is what many seniors do not realize. Standard room service breakfast is completely free on the vast majority of mainstream cruise lines, yet passengers assume every room service order carries a delivery charge and skip it entirely, walking to a crowded buffet instead. A 69-year-old from Sacramento avoided room service for an entire 7-night cruise, assuming it would cost extra, only learning on the final morning from her steward that basic breakfast delivery had been free the whole time she was on board. Here is why the confusion exists. Some cruise lines do charge for room service at other times of day, and passengers naturally assume that fee applies to breakfast as well, when breakfast is typically excluded from any delivery charge entirely. Here is what you do the night before. Hang the door card that lists breakfast items and mark your selections, or call room service directly and confirm, "I would like to order breakfast delivery. Is this complimentary?" Insider move. Order the night before rather than the morning of, since early morning slots fill up quickly on sea days. Number 4 matters most the very moment your ship actually reaches land. Number 4, priority tender boarding for mobility needs. On ports where the ship anchors offshore and passengers ride a small tender boat to reach land, priority boarding is available at no charge for anyone with mobility limitations, yet most seniors stand in the general line for over an hour, simply because nobody tells them the priority option exists at all. A 72-year-old from Denver with a knee replacement stood in a tender line for 90 minutes under direct sun before a crew member finally noticed and moved her to the priority line, which took 8 minutes total from start to finish. Here is why this stays quiet. Priority tender boarding is meant for a small number of passengers, and cruise lines worry that announcing it too loudly will overwhelm the reduced capacity of that smaller line. Here is what you do. Visit guest services the morning of a tender port and say, "I have a mobility concern and would like to request priority tender boarding." No formal documentation is typically required for a simple verbal request like this. Rule of thumb, arrive at the tender platform 10 minutes before your window opens, since the priority line still requires you to show up on time. Number 3 could genuinely save your entire vacation from ending right at the gangway. Number 3, free mobility assistance during embarkation and debarkation. Wheelchairs, escorts, and dedicated staff assistants are available completely free during the busiest, most chaotic moments of any cruise, boarding day, and the final morning. Yet almost nobody requests it in advance, which means the limited number of wheelchairs get claimed by whoever happens to ask first. A 75-year-old from Miami struggled through a packed terminal on embarkation day, exhausted before the cruise had even started, only to learn on day 3 that pre-booking a wheelchair escort would have taken her straight to the front of the line. Here is why advance requests matter so much. Terminals only stock a limited number of wheelchairs, and cruise lines allocate them to passengers who called ahead rather than to passengers who simply ask on the spot. Here is what you do. Call the cruise line at least 72 hours before departure and say, "I would like to request mobility assistance for embarkation and debarkation." Confirm the request again at the terminal counter the moment you arrive that morning. Insider move, book this, even if you only need it occasionally, since it costs nothing and can always be declined on the actual day. Number 2 protects something far more important than comfort alone. Number 2, medical grade refrigeration for medications. Cabin mini fridges do not stay cold enough for insulin or other temperature-sensitive medications, but every cruise ship keeps a small number of medical-grade refrigerators available free of charge through the medical center, and almost no one over 65 is told about it before boarding. A 68-year-old from Atlanta stored her insulin in the standard cabin fridge for 4 days before a nurse mentioned during a routine visit that the temperature was not reliable enough, and several doses had likely already lost potency by then. Here is why this gap exists. Cruise lines assume passengers will mention medical refrigeration needs during the health questionnaire, but the questionnaire itself rarely asks the question directly, so the responsibility quietly falls back onto you instead. Here is what you do. Visit the medical center within the first few hours on board and say, "I have medication that requires reliable refrigeration. Can this be stored safely with you?" Staff will log it and return it to you on request throughout the entire voyage. Rule of thumb, do this on embarkation day, not after you already notice a problem with your supply. Number 1 is the free service with the single biggest impact of all 11. Number 1, customized meal delivery for medical dietary requirements. Here is the free service most seniors never think to ask about. If you manage diabetes, a heart condition, celiac disease, or any other medical dietary need, most cruise lines will prepare and deliver customized meals directly to your cabin or table at no additional charge once the culinary team is properly notified. A 70-year-old from Sacramento spent an entire cruise picking through buffet labels trying to manage her blood sugar, stressed before every single meal, before a dining manager finally explained that the kitchen could have been preparing meals built specifically around her needs since day 1. Here is why this service goes unused so often. Cruise lines require advance notice through the special dietary request process, and if it was not submitted before boarding, most passengers simply assume it is too late to ask once they are already on board. Here is what you do. Visit the main dining room host or the culinary team within the first evening and say, "I have a medical dietary requirement. Can the kitchen prepare meals suited to it for the remainder of the voyage?" In most cases, the answer is yes, even without any advance booking at all. Insider move, request a consistent server or table assignment, since the same waiter learning your needs makes every single meal afterward smoother and safer. If you have made it this far, you already know more free services than most passengers discover in a lifetime of cruising, so take 30 seconds right now and comment the number of the one that surprised you most, since I read every single comment and it genuinely shapes which secrets I cover next. And if this list is already saving you money in your head, go ahead and like the video. It costs nothing, and it tells this channel to keep digging up more of these hidden perks for you. 11 free services, all sitting quietly behind a counter or a single phone call, waiting for someone to simply ask. If this saved you money or stress for your next cruise, tap like on this video right now and drop a comment telling me which service surprised you the most, since I read every single one and it shapes what I cover next. And if you know someone over 65 who cruises regularly, share this with them today, because the crew members reading this list know exactly which passengers ask and which ones never do, and today you are one of the ones who finally asks. Subscribe to Senior Cruise Secrets so you catch the next list before your next voyage. Since cruise lines change these policies quietly, and this channel is the only place that keeps track of every single update as it happens.